And here we go.
You can't just like say, I'm going to push the button.
Listen, I just
You
pushed the
need-
button.
You need to like come up with a catchy like way to turn on the camera.
Here we go, guys.
No, I said catchy, not annoying.
It's catchy for me because it annoys you.
It doesn't annoy me. It's just I
mean,
want
just-
you. I want you to add some personality. That's all I'm asking for.
Personality.
Personality. Imagination.
Imagination.
And let's just observe Disappointed Lane. Let me help
I'm
you.
just. Every time that happens, I'm just gonna look down at my Werthers.
What's that?
Wait, which one? To throw at him or me? Or both?
Well, conveniently, they're not tied to a leash. I
They
can throw
should
them at
be.
either of you.
And realistically, you know,
He only has about 3 or 4 over there, so I think we're safe after like the first
No, because
3.
you guys are gonna try and throw them back. It's gonna go
No,
terribly
see.
wrong.
No, because we'll hold on to him and wait.
and he's got that weird like chancla superpower where it's like a boomerang. It just hits you and then goes back to him.
It's going to bounce off your head and just fly back into his hand.
He's just like,
Oh my god. So I was walking into the gym today.
Yes.
Second day in a row they were there.
who's that?
Yeah, you got to say.
People getting signatures to get the no vacation rentals put on the ban on vacation rentals on the Nevada side put on the ballot for 24.
Oh, the Nevada side is trying to do it too.
Yes,
Fascinating.
I thought we needed the vacation rentals.
we do. So here's the thing. I don't know why. I was particularly annoyed, just generally.
Fair.
And they walk up and they're like, they're obviously retired. And they're like, can we get a signature to get vacation rental ban put on the ballot? It's like, no, I don't think so.
No, I'm good.
They're like, well, we really need this. I'm like, do we though? They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, okay, first of all, Tahoe's 72% second homes. They're like, save our residential neighborhoods. I think that's what annoyed me. So Tahoe's 72% second homes. Do we actually have residential neighborhoods? You guys killed off the residential neighborhoods and the feeling of community in Tahoe 30 years ago. I know. I was there. You made it so expensive that the people that work here can't afford to live here. So everyone that works here lives down in the valley where the actual community is. Well, I mean, there is residential neighborhood. Zoning says so. Like, yeah, but the zoning's kind of a lie at this point,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Well, what do you mean? I'm like, well, so what you're going for, I imagine, I don't know, but I don't think you're permanent residents. I imagine your homes are second homes. So what you want is to get rid of the populist vacation spot in favor of an elitist vacation spot. Like you had the money and you were here first, so you think you should be able to enjoy it in quiet. The problem with that is you're willing to kill off any number of small businesses to do it. Now, if you want to have a conversation about redeveloping community and solving the housing crisis, P.S. Vacation rental bans don't change the prices of houses in any particular resort community. They've done plenty of studies at this point. We've seen the results. The prices don't change.
Right.
Right? Because it's the value. Turns out the market value of a populist vacation spot versus an elitist vacation spot, pretty similar unless you're talking about something like Jackson Hole or Vail or Aspen.
Yeah, or
But this
Aspen.
isn't that. So if you want to have a conversation about rebuilding communities in Tahoe and finding a way for the people that actually work here to live here, we can have that conversation. And if this vacation rental ban is a part of it, then I'll consider it. But I don't think that's why you're here. And they kind of looked at me and they're like, well, I don't think you're really the kind of person that we need signing this petition anyway. Like, I didn't think so. Have a nice day.
Someone who uses their brain? Of course not. They wouldn't want
So
that.
you shut down the vacation rental people like I shut down the Dare people?
The problem is I'm not entirely opposed to vacation rental bans, but they were just bothering me.
No, that's fair. That's fair. No, I every time I see the Dare guy.
Is Dare still a thing?
So here's the thing.
I thought they killed that program off.
They did because it didn't work.
Yeah, it promoted drug use.
Yes. So there's people in Carson. They stand around, like, hey, do you have a moment of your time? And every time I see this guy, he's outside the Office Depot, in the middle of town, next to the Lowe's, off the A101, just past Leicestershire. But he's there, and he's got this table set up, and it says Dare on it. Normally, I'm just like, no, I got time. But one day I was going in that house, stopped, and I said, all right, you got 5 minutes. Go. And he's like, well, we're trying to get Dare back into the schools, and it was a really successful program. I'm like, all right, let me stop you right there. Your 5 minutes are already up. Well, first of all,
I've deducted time.
I remember Dare. I was like, it's very educational. I learned all of the slang words and the people associated with those slang words and where to find all the drugs from Dare. So your goal is to just educate kids on drugs again, or what are we doing? Are we just updating the slang words so we know where to get fentanyl and Molly and stuff like that? Like what exactly do you want from me? And he's like, well, I'm like, no. You're here promoting, man. This is your job. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's going on here? He's, well, it was a really successful program at schools. I'm like, if it was a successful program, you, my man, would not be standing out here trying to get funding for it to go back into schools. It would still be there. I'm like, clearly, we need to change what's going on here. Now, every time I do shut down the Dairy Guy, the next time I go to Office Depot, it's a different program. So I feel like every time I do it, I successfully shut down their program. Last time it was like school lunches for free, and I was like, you know what, I'm for this. I'll sign for this one. But I'm like, you tell that Dare Guy to stop coming around here.
You move him along. So I walked in today. So the conversation with the VR people happened yesterday. Back in the gym today, obviously.
Were they still there?
Back again.
Oh.
And I pulled the line, not my line, but I like it. And the guy gets up off his seat as I walk through the little, because there's that little like entryway.
Yeah.
There's a little foyer
Yeah.
before you walk in, and that's where they're at. They're not actually in the building.
They're in the
But they're in
foyer.
that sheltered area. So I walk through there, and he gets up off. They've got those stumps in there, like they're chairs almost.
Yeah.
And he gets up and he walks to me, and he goes, "Can we get you to sign our petition?" And I look at him, I go, "I feel like we've been here before." And he looks at me, and then he goes, "Sit back down."
You just want to be like, really, dude? Really?
You think they'd figure to not annoy you by now.
Well, no. You'd think that would have been a memorable experience for one, and been like, oh, that's the guy. It's not like you changed your look overnight. Now if you were wearing sunglasses and shaved your beard,
Yeah.
and maybe was wearing a hat, then maybe I'd be like, oh, that was the same guy. But no.
I just wanted him to understand the effect of what they were doing. More than just, I don't want these people next to my house.
Yeah, no, they don't care. And
Right?
the second you try to educate someone like that, they're not going to care.
No. But I'm just going to mouth off anyway.
I will tell you, because I drove through the old neighborhood with Grandma yesterday,
Yeah.
where their house used to be, and it's out in Myers,
Yeah.
Okay.
off of Wasabi,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
right there. I mean, that neighborhood is drastically different
Oh, dude.
from when I grew up there. There were not that many god awful gaudy houses.
No, there were.
There
Are they all bright?
tons. Oh, dude, they're just these huge 2-3 story. They have the faux wood look on the outside,
Yeah.
townhouse.
Like the faux cabin look.
Yeah, but it's a townhouse, and it's like where'd that little house go that was in this lot? Oh, it's gone. Where'd that lot here was empty? Now it's got a big house on it.
Dude,
Ugh.
our first place up here was on Mulberry. There were 7 houses on that street
Yeah,
when I was there.
and now there's the whole street's full.
Now there's no lots left.
Yeah, they're full.
Yeah, and it's fun, dude. I love it in Tahoe too because it's like 1958 A-frame, 1967 random sort of ranch style,
Yep,
2,800 square foot, 4-bedroom, 2-story.
townhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell in every neighborhood you go, that's an old house, that's an old house. Oh,
It's,
I wonder where that house came from.
It's so disjointed.
Yeah.
Like you see a house that's damn near being condemned next to something that's going to sell for $1.5 million.
Yeah, and I just noticed this too. Funny enough, in where I live, because my neighborhood's basically all the same houses.
Yeah.
Like they're all the same, manufactured homes,
Prefabs.
prefab. Yeah, they're all the same. I didn't realize though that we had underground power lines
Oh,
until about 2 days ago.
Yeah.
when you didn't see any of the posts around you?
Well, so okay, you remember how I told you I have sidewalks,
Yeah, I know where you live.
but the neighborhood on the opposite side of the cross street doesn't.
Okay.
Yes.
Like they have the old ditch style water system.
Oh yeah. All right.
That's on the other side of the cross street. So I have a cross street.
Yeah.
We have sidewalks and like drainage, and they don't. It's weird. It's like medieval times, 1800s. Medieval times, 1800s. But so I on that side, I cut through that part of to get to the light to get to the freeway. And 2 days ago, I noticed that there was a tree trimmer at this corner house, which has all these massive jungle growing outside their house, which is, I bet it's nice when the sun's out because it's super shady there. But I noticed they were cutting around the power lines. And it occurred to me, I was like, oh, we have trees in front of our house. We should probably check the power lines too. I drive home and I go,
Where are the power lines?
there isn't a power line on this damn street. I was like, oh, they're all underground. That's fantastic. So my neighborhood is new and the other neighborhood is not. And it's like, I feel like I know what time travel is like now. I can just time travel from one neighborhood to the next and be like, oh, this is amazing.
I can just walk across the street.
See, and I remember living in Vegas and having the underground power, and that's what I miss. Because when I'm on my street, all I see is the power lines going back and forth across the street, connecting to the other houses.
Still sharp. No, I noticed that too now. I'm like, oh, I just look up and see trees and the night sky. It's a little hazy, but it's the night sky. Like, there's no power lines anywhere. And then I was sitting out here and I'm like, there's power lines everywhere up here. You'd think this town would have underground power lines.
By now, yeah.
No, because you got to remember, most of this town was built for the Olympics.
Oh,
That's
true.
when the first expansion of this town occurred.
That's true.
It was a
right?
long time ago.
Yeah. The 62?
60. I think it was 60.
60?
Do you think they'll ever
60.
update it?
No, at the rate this town's going? No.
Well, no, because again, you have the. So my mom's neighborhood has this problem. Okay, like her street is the first street that's on the neighborhood. You turn in, hers the first street, right? Across from her is, I'm pretty sure it's Forest Service land or something. It's protected land because no one's ever tried to build on it, and none of it's for sale.
Right.
So there's that. But her neighborhood street has been all houses the whole time. But on the back lot, the other street, now they're starting to fill in little empty spots in between houses. The other lots are starting to fill up. So yeah, on the backside where my mom lives, you see the old house on the corner, clearly been there forever. And now it's like townhouse, 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 old house, townhouse, dilapidated apartment buildings that clearly need to be torn down and redone.
Doesn't your mom live off of Silver Dollar?
Yeah.
So, like, Silver Dollar's funny because you have on the front half of Silver Dollar, like closest to Highway 50.
Yep.
If you duck into that neighborhood.
Yep.
Like, because I know your mom lives on the entry road into that main neighborhood, right?
Well, she lives on Ponderosa,
Yeah.
the first cross street. So Silver Dollar, Ponderosa.
But then you go down and you're in that, like, the actual neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And the first 3 blocks are all in that Tyrol style that they built in the like in the late 50s here.
Yep.
Like it's all old Olympic housing.
Yeah.
And it's like 6 to 8 houses built around a communal like dumpster trash collection area.
Yeah.
Like elongated cul-de-sacs basically.
Pretty much.
But then you get past those 3 blocks, like you go to the back of the neighborhood at the very end of Silver Dollar.
And it's all just.
And there's like spectacular $2.5 $3 million homes back there.
Yeah. Yeah, they just popped up out of nowhere. They're all there.
Well, some of those have been there for a while. So one of those, my friends grew up in. I went to school with the brother, and his sister was a year younger than I was in high school.
Oh, okay.
And then if you look from that house southwest, there's the most ridiculous log cabin you've ever seen, and it's actually a log cabin.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so
Yes.
I went to school with him too.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, but the whole neighborhood is weird.
it really is.
And it's not just that neighborhood, though. Right? Because then you
No,
go.
it's basically every neighborhood in Tahoe
Yeah,
is like
because
that.
then you go across. Well, if you go across the street or across the highway, you've got Sierra Boulevard.
Yeah, I
which-
will say Sierra Track, all really just old.
Yeah, well, because you go over there and it's like even older houses, but they redid the one road they added the pavements and the lights. So
Yep.
you go, oh, this must be a nice neighborhood. The problem is if you drive down that road and you look at any of the houses that are along the nice new paved ones, you go, oh God, why would they put streetlights out here?
No, if you really want to see the worst example of super old and super new and luxurious,
It's the transition to the Keys,
it's Lakeview.
the Commons.
Yeah, like go down
Oh yeah,
Lakeview,
Go from
that first drive.
yeah.
I mean, there is some ancient stuff that literally should be knocked down.
Yep.
And right next to it,
Just
you're
the nicest house you've ever seen in your life. My favorite is the fact that like all the Lakeview ones are clearly holdouts.
yeah.
Like they've never gone away. They've never been torn down. And you know that's just prime real estate. Someone's just waiting to cash it on.
Oh, there's a list of people that want to buy those lots.
And you're just like, oh, just keep letting the price go up. I'm going to sell one day, but not today.
Well, your guys' housing market up here is expensive, even for just lots, right?
Oh, nothing's cheap up here.
First of all, if you can find a lot that's available
And can be built on.
and can be built on, it's going to be exorbitant.
Yeah.
On top of that, then you have to, especially nowadays. I mean, look at how much wood costs.
Well, and you can't
Oh,
just
yeah.
build anything. So each lot has a coverage allotment.
Right.
So when you buy a lot, you have to know how much coverage they've given it because you're only allowed to build the footprint of that coverage.
Yeah,
Ca-
you have
ca-
to leave the rest of it for nature.
Yeah.
Okay, so coverage is
So like if you have,
It depends on the lot.
yeah, it depends on the lot, but it's basically I think it's like 40% of the lot has to be or more has to be.
It's more than that.
Yeah, it's like 45, maybe even 50% of the lot has to be nature. I mean, you can landscape it. You could add grass or
Ish, but if
Whatever.
you've got like, if it bleeds into a hill that becomes like national forest land,
you can't touch it.
that hill, like,
Yep.
you can't screw with the natural terrain. Like, you can't just go in and, like, you can level a section, like, but you can't like take away features.
Yeah,
okay.
because you're gonna was it mess with the dirt?
Unless you're Steve Wynn.
That's your Steve Wynn.
Well, he just paid for those exorbitant.
He just
deals.
paid the fines.
When
Yeah,
you
the
when you
fines.
have stupid money like that, you can do that. But my buddy Jim, he has the best house I think up here.
Yeah.
He lives off of like over Golden Bear. You know that neighborhood?
Yeah, yeah.
His house, so it's up on a hill, kind of like his driveway's pretty steep. It's kind of a bitch in the winter, but it's up, and then they built their house. They have a separate garage, mother-in-law type of garage, nice big house, but he got his in a cul-de-sac that is half national forest
Oh, yeah.
and half housing. So the other housing neighbors are like on one side of him, and then there's just this big hill of national forest land, and the hill goes behind his house. So his patio is where he flattened out the section he could, and it leads up to national forest land. But he's a skier, so the first skis of every winter are just from the top of the hill back down to his house.
Yeah.
That's,
Well, like Cold Creek, you can ski into Cold Creek from Heavenly.
oh, easily.
You just drop off of Roundabout, or higher up, you want to drop off of like Ridge Run.
Yeah,
You just drop out of bounds south, and you'll end up there.
just ski home.
Have you done that?
No, because my house wasn't down there,
Right.
but I had friends that did.
Oh, time to go home. Let's ski home.
And then like once a year, someone gets lost back there. They drop the ropes, they end up back there, and it's funny. Like I have friends that live there, and they'll hear someone yelling, and they're like, "What the?
Like
what
for
the hell
help?
is that?" Yeah, yeah.
Help!
They're legitimately maybe 3/4 of a mile from civilization, and they end up calling like search and rescue.
That's just sad.
Does that become expensive? Like not expensive. Do people have to pay for that at some point? Or
I don't know how that works up here.
Because like I understand if you're actually lost on the mountain and search and rescue goes out, but if you're like 3/4 of a mile out,
I mean,
you
with the
can't
kind
figure
of
it out.
money people have up here now, they're probably more worried about getting their pass pulled for the season because
That
they
is
dropped a
true.
rope.
Hey man, the pass is expensive. Okay.
It's not that it's expensive; it's that you can't ski on the closest mountain anymore for the rest of the season.
Damn it, I'm not driving a North Star.
Yeah, I got to go to Kirkwood. Well, Sierra's back open now too, though.
And
Wait, they opened
keep
it again?
they keep pulling trees. All those trees keep coming from there, right?
Yes.
Because the tree lot down in
Is
Carson
substantial.
is huge.
No, they're doing a ton of work up there.
Yeah, so that Sierra's going to have even more prime real estate.
I
this
think
year.
it's technically the largest inbound expansion of any ski area ever.
Yeah, probably. The whole mountain is basically bare now.
Yeah.
So my dad sent me a link. Apparently, the GSR is pouring $1 billion over the next 10 years to readjust the whole setup and make it more.
Yeah, they're putting in
800 more rooms in a hotel.
What?
well, they're also putting in like a sports arena.
Yeah, I saw that, and it has
I'm sorry, a sports arena?
Yeah, like full blown like 35, 40,000 seats.
Holy shit.
and it has the Wolfpack symbol on the top of it. Is what the picture showed.
Oh.
But I mean,
Jerry Jones gonna
it
sue
looks
somebody.
really nice, and I think what the plan is they're trying to, I don't know.
Get a basketball team?
I don't know if it's a basketball team. I think it's a hockey team is what they want. They want, to my knowledge, they want to be able to bring
No.
their team from Arizona up and like have
What team?
like tryouts and all that. So the owner actually owns the Coyotes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know. I have questions about that because they're not like they're struggling. They make a lot of money, but they spend a lot of money.
Oh yeah. I don't think they know how to actually.
Well, wait a minute.
Well, this is what I accused them of to their face. I told them they were driving a Ferrari in second gear. It's a beautiful property. It's got all kinds of potential, and they're grinding the gears.
That's funny.
Yeah, I don't.
Driving a Ferrari in second gear.
It's the best way I knew how to describe
No,
it.
I mean, it's legitimately the best explanation.
I mean, they've created a nice property and everything, but running it's not the best.
yeah.
Well, like I was telling Lynn, I think it just got too big too fast.
Well, yeah, and the owner opened another casino in Vegas. Well, I think he took over the old Sands, I think it was, or something
Yeah, he
like
did.
that. Yeah, so and that's supposed to be the Grand Sahara.
I love that property.
That said, all right. So there's a guy in Nevada gaming. He's kind of notorious. I won't name him, but he had this thing. Now he ended up being incredibly successful before he completely lost his mind. But it's funny because he gave this lecture to people based on it happening to someone else when he was part of a group of about 8 guys that all ended up being general managers and owners of other properties. And he was one of the guys that became like executive VP for whatever.
Okay.
But he used to tell people, he's like, look, everyone in this business, speaking specifically to gaming, he goes, everyone in this business has a number. He goes, and when they get there, they don't know how to take it. And they lose their mind.
Like number as in how much they're getting paid? Or?
How much they're making.
Okay.
For this guy, it was about $1.5 million a year. But he lost his mind. And he was talking about someone who had done that before. And I know one of the other people in that group
Oh.
relatively well.
Okay.
And he was talking about the owner of GSR. And he goes, I've been around since they purchased the property. Now, he doesn't work for them. He's an owner of another property.
Ah.
He goes, but I'm familiar with the people and how they run the business. And he goes, and I'm starting to see the signs. The owner of the GSR might have reached his number.
Yeah, because he's trying to do a lot at once.
Well, he's also doing some other things.
Well, yeah.
But he goes, he might have reached his number. He goes, we might be in for a hell of a show.
That's not the same. Not the same guy who's owning the Nugget, though, right?
No, the new one across the street
Yeah, that's
is no, that's the Rockets.
Oh,
That's Tillman Fertitta.
That's Fertitta. Okay. Well, at least I know who can buy the GSR.
I mean, GSR was looking at buying that place, but I think it fell through.
Well, they weren't going to give GSR the land, and Fertitta talked him into the land.
Wait, so he bought the land?
I'm
with
pretty
the,
sure.
with the
I'm
building.
I'm fairly certain.
So for Tita's better talker, is what I'm understanding.
Yeah.
Well,
Or he threw enough money at him.
he probably
Because
just
I got the story on their negotiation on that property, and they turned it down because they couldn't get the land out of him.
And-
But I think Fertitta got the land. I think that's why he's willing to dump.
All the
I mean,
money.
the number is 180 million. I've heard for the remodel.
Jesus,
180.
$180 million.
And that's to tear down the back tower and rebuild a new tower or something?
They can't.
No.
I thought they were going to gut
No,
it and tear
remember,
it
we'd
down.
have
You
to-
can't build over 4 stories
Yeah, you have to. Yeah.
unless they have the kind of pole that not even $9 billion buys you.
Fair enough.
Like the kind of pole you need is closer to being connected with like $60 billion to get a federal agency to say, sure, you can rebuild a 20-story tower.
It was there to begin with. What's the
apparently.
problem?
Apparently, the TRPA owns all of the air.
The airspace.
Right? No, that's the problem. That's why they won't tear it down, because they can't build it back.
Okay.
Try building something taller than 3 stories in Tahoe. See if his name comes up then.
So there's a rule in building that for a remodel, you can tear down everything but one wall. And then
Yeah,
build
but-
off of that.
Yeah,
But that's
you-
a little bit more difficult when you're talking about something built on rebar.
Very true.
Yeah.
And steel girders.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know how hard it would be to keep that one wall up and
And
standing.
you're going to pay the same environmental bond for tearing down everything but one wall as you are for demoing that whole tower.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
And it's not a cheap environmental bond.
but luxury 4-story
Well,
resort wouldn't be a terrible thing.
And you,
Yeah, but is that what they're going to build? At some point, you have to evaluate ROI. Like, what's it going to take to get back?
Yeah,
right.
And listen, they're probably never going to get back their $180 million, if we're being honest.
In this area, no.
I mean, 20 years from now, maybe.
But it'd take 20
But
I
they also
mean-
have to completely re-engineer the market that's visiting that property.
yeah.
Because that property isn't making anywhere near that amount of money.
Well, and now you have to get rid of the funk of it being the Hard Rock
Yeah, and the horizon before that.
and the Horizon, and that property does have a really good stank on it.
Oh, it does. It's an old building.
And I think
Yeah.
it would probably take about 20 years to actually get through that funk and get rid of it, right? For the old properties.
you dump $180 million in that, and you then dump another $20 million into solid marketing. Maybe in 10, 20 years you get a return on that.
I think they probably bring
But-
other people in, wouldn't they?
Oh, I mean,
If they have
at this point,
huge
you
rollers.
need whales. You need to do the Harris thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that property right now, listen, I don't know. I haven't been familiar with their numbers in almost a decade. My guess is it's probably a $15 to $16 million a year property.
Has it been that
They're
long?
and they're netting,
5.
yeah,
Maybe.
between 4 and 5 if they're lucky.
Yeah.
I thought you worked there like 5-6 years ago.
No,
Oh, dude,
I worked
dude,
there when we
time
opened
flies.
it.
Yeah, and I don't remember when we opened it.
We opened it in
I don't remember it being 2013.
it was February of 15.
February 15th. Okay.
Holy shit.
I didn't realize we were 8 years in.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah. it's not a good building.
No.
It needs so much
Well,
work.
From
Yeah,
what
I
I
mean,
remember
there-
when
I-
it was the Horizon
Well,
and
there-
walking through there. When
There's
I
a
was
fantastic picture someone took of that building when it was the
back in the day.
Sahara.
Yeah.
The High Sierra.
The
So
high-
it was Del Webb Sahara, High Sierra, Horizon, Hard Rock.
Okay, there, whichever one it is, it's a fantastic picture. I want to say it's like 1962, 63, or no, 70, 74 maybe.
It would've been in the
Because
70s.
this is here, the Caesar's Palace is here. You can see the Caesar's Palace,
But this casino wasn't finished built until 78.
but the Caesar's doesn't have the parking lot done at all.
So if it was
It's-
Caesars, it was 79 or later.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then it's got to be maybe 79. But there's dirt out there where the parking lot, where the resort is, or the sports center is now, right?
Yeah.
And you look across the street at the Sahara, because it says Sahara, it's got the billboard for it, and it's got this like nice green backyard with where the pool is now, and the building looks brand new, and you just go, wow, that building was something when it was first opened. And you look at it now and you go, oh, that building hasn't been touched since it was open.
No, I mean the number I thought it would take to remodel that property properly was 250.
2, 3, maybe.
Yeah, I think 250 get
like
it done.
mil.
Yes,
Yeah. No,
I don't think 180 gets it done.
No, probably about halfway.
I feel like 180 is you just skipping the back tower completely.
Yeah, dude, the back tower, the stories that they need to blow that thing up.
Is it? I mean, is it worth keeping?
No,
Yeah. So
Because they're not really using it right now, right?
they use it when they have to.
when you have, but
They use it like 4th of July weekend, Celebrity Golf weekend, New Year's, a couple other times. But that back tower
yeah.
is not safe.
But you got the rest
Well,
of
yeah,
it
because
right.
it's filled with asbestos and other garbage.
Black mold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spiders.
I mean, everywhere has spiders.
Aliens.
Maybe that one.
Old mob bosses.
Yeah.
Corpses.
I want to see that property do well. I want to see all the properties up here
Well, it would be nice to see all like this,
remodel and become modern.
well, and I want them to do the loop road for this corridor.
Oh, I think everyone does that works in the corridor.
Yeah, like that. Those designs to have that trees in the middle, slow it down, cobblestone. Like I was driving through a couple days ago.
Well, and it would go all the way to whatever that is, F Street or E Street.
Yeah,
That
Is
random
that-
stoplight where you can only turn right.
yeah.
Is that the one over there by
It's right
at the end of Harvey's?
no, it's past that.
Past
It's the
Harvey's.
one at right. It's right at the gondola.
Okay.
Yeah.
So from there on, it would become 2 lanes with proper downtown parking, and the highway would get routed around the back of this building.
You know, I thought it was one lane
Go
each
back
side.
this way.
Yeah, 2 lanes total.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. One on each side. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would they cut through that way, or just keep it that same loop there, and then to have that right turn?
No, the back loop was it was projected. You had to cut through the neighborhood.
Okay.
They were going to cut the freeway through the neighborhood, and we were going to tear down like 12 houses or something like that. And then people complained, and so then the next projection was like, okay, we can do it if we cut down like 6 houses. And I'm sorry, I looked at the 6 houses they wanted to get rid of.
Dude, that neighborhood's beat up.
That neighborhood is terrible. If anywhere needs it, it's that neighborhood.
Like, it sucks that someone's going to have to deal with that, but that's needed to happen for almost 20 years.
And they wanted to build affordable housing to make up for it. And I was like, well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So you can build a whole new neighborhood area, like the Aspens, that nice neighborhood, affordable housing for 12, 15 more families to live in if we just tear down 6 houses? Like,
Yeah.
it's just a no-brainer.
I mean, you don't have to convince me.
I know.
I thought it was a good idea since its inception.
Every time somebody gets hit outside on the strip.
Oh, dude, if people understood how many people die walking across this street.
Yeah.
It's just because they want to run across. And
Well, no,
people
it's
are
because
blaring
it's 'cause,
through and-
people blare through. It's 25 through the corridor.
Yes.
I rarely see anyone go 25.
No, when I try to go 25, I usually have somebody riding me and then going around and
Oh,
hitting
yeah.
45.
Dude, I see people doing 50 through there.
yeah.
No, all the time. It's stupid. It's super, super dangerous. And then that's why people get hit. But when you look at the designs for the loop road, like it was a cobblestone, like road with open areas for everywhere, and I was like, that would so revive.
No,
This
this whole
area.
this whole town needs stuff like that, right? And it's completely grandiose. But the idea that people are still driving up to college is ridiculous. That's treacherous for people that don't know how to drive in the snow and aren't prepared for it. Don't have the right tires.
Cow
don't have the
Lodge?
right cars.
Oh, yeah.
Why we don't like that whole like that where that old Chevy's was.
Yeah.
There's nothing going on there.
No.
Blow that whole thing up.
Yeah.
Level it. Build a parking garage.
Yeah.
And then build a gondola from there to Cow Lodge.
Yeah.
And then the only people that need to park at Cow Lodge are the crazy locals who want first chair
Yeah. Or the employees
or the employees,
who also know how to get there.
right? But then you keep people, and then you create a whole nother commerce area.
Yeah.
Like that revitalizes all of Ski Run, the
Yep.
whole area. You get some real businesses in there, right?
Oh,
Not
yeah.
people that are struggling to make it every year.
Yeah. The 2 or 3 ski shops that are left.
You keep cars on the main road
Yeah.
instead of driving them through neighborhoods and up a road where literally there's videos of people sliding down almost every year.
Well, now wait a minute, because now you're ruining my video entertainment. Because
That is pretty
What,
fun
what
to watch.
was it 2 years ago? That dude in the Jeep.
No, last year. Oh, it was great.
Trying to go and he kept spinning
That
backwards.
was this season.
And you were like, "Oh, you should have bought the all-wheel drive, not the two-wheel drive."
But there's just no business for people to be driving up those roads.
Yeah, and for it to be the most popular ski resort,
Oh yeah.
it is hands down the most popular ski resort in town,
Oh yeah.
just because of how easy it is to get to, and,
I mean,
and where it's located.
that mountain makes so much money.
Yeah, so you think you're right. They need to solve the parking problem.
I was-
The second you do too, that place blows up even more.
Yeah. And then maybe they can build some of those chairs up top that, I mean, Heavenly, listen, I like Heavenly a lot. But I understand why it gets a bad rap.
Yeah,
Because the cat tracks up there from one part of the mountain to the other are terrible.
needs a little traversal help.
Well, they've got plans for a chair that they're never going to build called the J chair, which goes from, I'm fairly certain it goes from, this won't make any sense to you, Casey. I apologize. But it goes from like where Canyon and Sky Chair are. But instead of going up, it goes across and it goes over to like where the top of Tamarack is, which is basically the top of the gondola area.
Oh, okay. That makes
So
sense.
it connects, so you no longer have to do Sky Trail, which is just this terrible cat track. Like if you want to get into some of the best trees, you want to go there, right? You want to get into Milky Way Bowl, you want to get into pinnacles or skiways, fantastic. But unless you're trying to get to those areas, it's just this big long cat track to get back to the Nevada side.
Oh,
Are you struggling through that cat track?
I mean, most people do. Like I don't.
is it flat?
Yeah, you can't
That's what I
on a
was thinking.
snowboard.
Yeah.
You
Like
got to be
you,
booking it from the
you
beginning.
can't stop. If you stop, you're unbuckling and walking.
Oh,
How many times have you had to do that?
I mean, when I was first learning, almost every time. The
now-
last 3 seasons,
now he just
only when I run into a group of skiers that's taking up literally the entire trail,
just-
and I can't get through.
Deshaun Watson's kids out of the way. Full on arm extension, like move, bitch.
I mean, I'm literally coming. Most people do. Most people that are talented on a snowboard up there. I'm not the only one. There's lots of us who are just from behind, like out of the way, on your right, out of the way. Like,
We're not stopping this train.
I mean, they should kind of maybe make it to where the skiers know to pull off to the left while the snowboarders can take the right.
No, because skiers can't read. Oh, I said it.
And listen, snowboarders and skiers both. When it's tourist group that comes up and there's 10 of them or more, they're gonna be as many people wide as the trail will hold. Because I don't know what they want to ski side by side or whatever, right? So they're taking up the whole cat track.
Oh, it's just like people when they want to talk.
Now I'm pretty brazen, even for a big guy. I will slide through some pretty small spaces.
That's fair.
Tackling the kid. Get out of the way.
No,
full arm extension to the helmet, like move, bitch.
Just pick them up, move them with you, move them to the side.
Usually, it's the dad that I'm running too close to, because I don't have to feel too bad about that. And then he screams, and I look back, and he's waving his poles in the air.
You're like, you look like a Muppet.
See, there's a lot of competition.
There's a lot of that at Heavenly. Heavenly's
lot
an
of competition.
awkward mountain.
Yeah.
I mean, it is an awkward
And
mountain.
and honestly, if you don't want to ski trees, it's not a good mountain. Like
See-
it's an average mountain. If you want to ski trees, it's actually really good. But if you're not a tree skier, yeah,
Yeah, I'm not quite there yet.
probably don't want to be like. It's gonna get boring because the trails are kind of crowded, kind of narrow.
Yeah.
I'd say it's not kinda. It's really crowded.
Well, you go on the right day, it's okay. It's acceptable.
Well, in the middle of the week, it's usually better. On the weekends, I won't even
Dude,
try to go up there.
I go out of my way to avoid Saturdays at Heavenly.
See, and I feel like Fridays and Saturdays are the worst times to go because that's when everybody's coming in.
Well, it
and
depends-
Sunday, people are trying to leave.
Friday-
so you're pretty good.
Friday early.
First half of the day is good.
Yeah, Friday early.
Sunday after lunch is good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything in between that,
No.
Friday after lunch to Sunday lunch,
Just stay out of the way.
skip
Murder
it.
Mountain.
Just skip it.
Well, that's the funny part. So when I was 15, my dad took us up to go learn how to snowboard. 4 boys going up to learn how to snowboard. Actually, yeah, it was 4 because all my brothers were there. And he was skiing. We all had to teach ourselves. So I learned how to stop, go, and that was pretty much it. And then I went for the runs because I'm like, you know what? Best way to learn is the hard way. And so, I mean, I learned how to stop. I took a couple tumbles. My brother, the youngest, we call him Yoshi, he did not learn how to stop. Instead, the way he stopped was either by crashing or running into the back of my dad's leg, fracturing his tibia.
Oh.
He made it down on his skis, but when we got down there, we had to convince him that his leg was broken. And he's like, it's not broken. I'm like, do you want me to drive? He's like, no, I'll drive. It's fine. He spent the whole time driving down in pain. We got home. He took off his boot, black and blue. He's like, it's fine. It's not broken. The way we got him to go to the hospital was we kind of lied to him. We told him we were going out to the bar. And we got him in the car, and then we took him to the hospital.
Skiing at Heavenly is like driving in Southern California. The best way to stay safe is to be the fastest person on the mountain.
And not signal.
You're not wrong. And the funny part is he's listening to Pink Floyd.
Oh,
and
yeah.
What was
like,
it? Rainbow in the Dark was playing when he got hit.
How do you know they're not going to hit you? Because I'm faster than they are. Yeah.
All I can imagine is like they're saying, like a rainbow in the dark, and it just hits him. That's all that goes through my head. I'm like, yep, that's it right there.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so awesome.
I feel bad every time I think about it, but it's still funny. And it's like, it's years after, and it's just like,
Dude, some of that stuff sticks.
it does.
I was in Slow, and dude, Cambodia kid, was down there with us, just running the theater down there.
It's
Just put that anywhere.
I did.
What was that?
What happened?
The greatest.
He just
fall
threw
ever.
ash all over everything.
Yep.
Oh, you just asked one out for James.
Yep. Astronaut for James. All over your mouse, all over my book, all over everything on my right.
James.
So we're out at the bars, and Sea Dog, we're going to call him Sea Dog.
Sea Dog.
Sea Dog was hammered.
No.
Now, he had this thing. He would get to a particular level of drunk,
Yeah.
and he would look at the people that he was there with and go, I got to go home, and just disappear. That was the end of it. He was gone.
I gotta go home. Bye.
But this particular night, for whatever reason, we were concerned, so we followed him. And he was marching in what we were pretty sure was a cadence.
It's the only way he could keep walking.
And then he would randomly, but it wasn't randomly, stop and throw up. And then he would go back to marching. And then he would get another, 20, 25 seconds up the road, and he would stop and throw up. And at some point, we all got back. We're still drinking. We're all back at the house, still drinking. He's thrown up a bunch. He comes back out like he's, relatively normal again, probably drinking again. And we're like, so here's the thing. We were pretty sure that you were walking in step. And he's like, yeah, I needed motivation to get home, even though I knew I was going to keep throwing up. And we're like, explain. And he goes, well, I was playing a song in my head. He goes, and at certain intervals, I knew it was time to throw up. And we're like, I'm sorry, what?
All right.
Timing.
And he goes, yeah, it was Johnny Cash. He goes, so I was marking, I keep a close watch on this heart of mine. I keep my eyes wide open all the time. So every time that song comes on to this day, that's what I think of.
Nice.
Now I'm curious. So if he's sitting there listening to it, does he go?
Oh, dude, this guy would shamelessly puke when he was out drinking. He puked in the employee entrance hallway of his own theater one time because he had the keys, and for whatever reason in this particular time, he didn't want to throw up on the street, so he opened up the door, went inside, threw up in the hallway, nothing, locks the door, and leaves.
Oh,
See,
just wrong.
my best throwing up story was down in Vegas, and that's when we were at a surveillance convention, and I didn't eat all day. I started smoking those psychos.
Oh,
It's like that pipe
Oh.
tobacco.
why would you do that?
Because that's what I had at the time. That's what I was able to find. And
Weren't
like,
we talking about that, Casey?
What?
The Stillwell Star?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like I was smoking that, drinking, and I got to the point where I'm like, hey, let's go get food real quick. And he's like, okay, I thought we were gonna go in an hour. I'm like, no, we're going right now. We make it outside and we're walking, and I'm standing up straight, and he's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Let's go. And we went and picked up pizza, and then we ate it, and I was fine. Then we
See,
went back to the bar.
I probably have a couple of good throwing up stories after too much alcohol,
Yeah.
but I don't think any of that tops you, Casey.
Which time?
The geyser outside the coat check.
Oh,
I
man.
believe it was your birthday.
I know this. One.
No, it wasn't my birthday.
No, I thought it was.
It was the day that the nightclub decided that on Dollar Drink Night they were going to introduce the 3 new flavors of Red Bull. This is when the first 3 flavors
Oh, the
Oh.
of
blueberry.
Red
the-
Bull came out. Remember?
Really?
It was the cranberry,
the blueberry and the tropical.
blueberry,
Yeah.
and the lime, the tropical lime.
Yeah.
And we went, wait, Red Bull has new flavors? I wonder how that tastes with vodka.
So you started with the original, and then
So
tested
first
the
we were
rest.
like, okay, I want the blueberry one. And you know, when you go to a place for a while and you know the bartender well enough that when you walk in and make eye contact, he already has your drink ready for you. You have problems. 2,
That's just good bartender.
that is good bartending. Alex was very friendly for us, and the nicest guy. So on Dollar Drink Night, he would pour us doubles,
Yeah.
and so we went. This double blueberry Red Bull vodka is delicious. I wonder how the cranberry one tastes. Next round, we'll have the cranberry one. That one's pretty good because it's just like a cranberry vodka, but with Red Bull. Then we tried the tropical one with lime. Not so good. I feel like that one's more of like a gin one, you know, maybe gin and tonic, a little Red Bull lime.
A little bit of tequila, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. It just wasn't good with vodka. So we went back to the red and the blue. Back and forth because we couldn't really decide which one we liked.
So it was research.
It was lots of research.
Lots and
Let's
lots.
see. So the first one was blue, the second was red, the next one was clear. So that's 3. So then it was a challenge 11 more times between the 2. So I think it would be 5 red ones and 6 blue ones that were doubles. Anyway, I just remember being in the nightclub, and then I was like, I don't want to be in the nightclub. I have to go to the bathroom. So I, stumble up the ramp, really happy, feeling good, because, man, that blueberry is really good with vodka, let me tell you right now. That's the devil's juice. I stopped by the cigar shop, said hi, hey, how's it going? And I went to the bathroom and threw up. And then I went pee.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, all right, I feel pretty good now. I could probably go drink again or whatever. But Robin was doing the coat check, And I'm a drunk man, and I'm like, I'm gonna go stare at some titties. So I went and stared at Robin's titties and talked to her for a little while, and I was apparently not saying the words that I thought I was. Anyway, so after a little bit of that, I was like, all right, I'm gonna go find Aaron because I came with Aaron.
Hey, Aaron?
Got to find my battle buddy. Yeah, Aaron. I turn 180 degrees back down towards the ramp, and apparently the rest of the vodka decided to come up, and I projectiled it 10 feet onto the ceiling.
Yeah.
And you know how I know it was the Red Bull vodka is because it was purple.
Yeah.
From this point on, the story is told from the third person because I don't remember any of it. But Aaron decided to leave the club because he was looking for me. And so he was coming up the ramp, and he was monologuing to himself, oh, shit, look at that dude lying down on the ramp. What a freaking tool. Oh, shit, that's Casey. I know him. So he came up. Amber's up there because she still worked here. And security is asking me questions like, do you know what day it is? And I responded with, I don't give a fuck. They're like,
That's the appropriate drunk response right there.
do you know who the president is? I don't give a fuck. Yeah. And then they went, would you like an ambulance? To which I replied, yes, please. So now I've asked for an ambulance. I have to wait for said ambulance. And again, this is all from third person because I don't remember any of this. Apparently, I was then loaded onto an ambulance and driven to Barton,
Where you go today?
where I woke up with a blown out vein in one arm and a Band-Aid. And the other arm had an IV in it. And I was just kind of like side laying on the IV arm. And I was like, holy shit, how hard did we party last night? And Amber's like, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, oh, we're still partying. They, flushed me out with some IVs. Ben was like, you probably could have had a heart attack. And I did the math and I was like, wait, 14 double Red Bull vodkas. That's like 7 Red Bulls in a day in like 3 hours.
You could have got
Man,
for 8.
that blueberry shit is delicious. I'll tell you what, I cannot drink the blueberry one anymore.
No.
Because of that.
No, it instantaneously makes me feel like I am going to be drunk.
What about the cranberry?
Cranberry one's not so bad, but I just don't like it as much. I've settled on the blueberry Red Bull is the best thing with vodka. Hands down.
I'm gonna
Okay.
start bringing in blueberry Red Bulls now.
So that's my drunk story.
That's a good story.
Other than the blackout one that I had because of Jaeger, where I befriended a man for a birthday party.
Okay.
Yeah. He's a very nice guy.
How's that one go?
That one goes that you should be careful when you go to the what's that place called in Circus? It's a bar.
I don't know.
It's in between Silver Legacy and Circus.
I got an idea. What
That's
you're talking
Brew
about.
Brothers.
Brew Brothers.
Brothers.
They're talking about putting one of those in Harris up here.
Yes, Brew Brothers Tuesday night. You know what Tuesday night is?
No.
Wristband night. $10 gets you in. All you can drink, 10 to midnight. That, to my group of friends, was a challenge.
That is a challenge.
Not an invitation for a party. That was a challenge. We got there at 9:55 for a strategy meeting. Okay, because we did all right. If it's $10 to get in, we need to drink $10 worth of drinks. Now in Reno, that's like 2 drinks.
Yes.
At least it was.
Yeah.
But in our mind, it's like, no, I need to get value for this. So
10 drinks.
if we drink a shot of something in between 10-minute intervals of drinks, we can drink enough to make it worthwhile. That was our plan. So we had a goal, which was easy: cranberry vodkas, and then we won't really deviate until we did, because our shot of choice was Jaeger bombs. So, cranberry vodka. All right, cool. Yeah, it's cool. Jaeger bomb. Poor decision made. Cranberry vodka. All right. Jaeger bomb. Poor decision made. Anyway, on about the 4th or 5th one, we've been tipping on these drinks too, because we come from the industry. We know
Yeah.
you tip because the bartender is not making any money on $10 wristbands.
No.
He was making money off of us though, because it was $2 a drink, and we kept ordering drinks.
And he left you.
Now, this guy next to me, his name is Jamal. Jamal was sitting by himself, and drunk me is very friendly. Drunk me looked at Jamal and said, "Hey man, you want a Jaeger bomb? I'm buying because the shit's free." And he went, "Yeah, all right, I'll do a Jaeger bomb with y'all." I'm like, "All right, Jamal's cool." So we do a Jaeger bomb. And then I'm like, "Hey Jamal, you want a drink?" He's like, "Sure." I'm buying because it's free. And I was like, yeah, he was sitting by himself. I felt really bad for the guy. I was like, hey, he'd come up to see his mom for Thanksgiving, and he was just kind of out trying to do something. And I told Jamal, I was like, all right, Jamal, why don't you go talk to them girls over there? They're looking at you. He's like, nah, man, I can't. I was like, I got you, Jamal. Don't worry. So I stumble with my drink over to these ladies. I go, ladies, that's Jamal over there, but you can call him Folgers because he's dark and rich. They went over to Jamal. Jamal looks at me and goes, what did you tell him? I said, they should call you Coffee because you grind so fine. Jamal disappeared for about 30 minutes, danced with these girls. He was having a good old time. He came back because the Jaeger had started to hit with him. And then he wanted to buy drinks. And I was like, you know what, Jamal? You can buy drinks all you want. They're free. You go right ahead, man. Buy them. That was at 11:45. We're probably 6 Jaeger bombs in, 7 or 8 cranberry vodkas. We lost our stamina on every 10 minutes, so we were kind of slowing down.
Yeah. That'll happen.
Yeah. Well, 11:45 turned into 1:45.
Real quick.
And we didn't realize until 1:45 that the bartender had just been giving us free drinks
the whole time.
the whole time because we still kept tipping on them.
Yeah.
So we were just giving him $2 every time he poured us a drink, and we didn't ask. They just kept showing up. At this point, like, I just remember talking to Jamal. Like, he invited me over for Thanksgiving and the Super Bowl. Like, we became friends, like serious friends. We also both paid $40 to see Robin's tits that day.
Yeah.
Because she charged us $20 about boob. And I had $20. Jamal had no cash. This man left Brew Brothers, went to the Silver Legacy ATM, got $20, and came back just so we could see some titties. All right, this man was a legend, true legend. He's still on my phone. But I remember talking to him at like 1:45, and then I'm talking to him outside of Brew Brothers at 3 after they closed. But I don't remember the hour in between. And then all of a sudden we were like in the hotel room we were supposed to stay in. And I'm still talking to Jamal, but now it's like 4:30 in the morning. And I'm like, I don't remember us getting here. I know we walked because we're in the Silver Legacy. We didn't drive anywhere. We didn't go anywhere. How did we get here?
How did this happen?
And Jamal just looked at me. He's like, y'all the craziest white people I've ever met in my life. He's like, but I've had the most fun. And I was like, you know what, Jamal? Anytime you want to party, bro, you hit me up.
Oh my God, that's
So
funny.
yeah, that's Jaeger just makes me like black out time, and it just disappeared. And I don't know how we got to places we got to.
Yeah,
Crazy.
I remember the story now, but there was more to it. But we're gonna hold off on that.
There's one time I legitimately taught golf to a guy, and I didn't know anything about golf.
That's fair.
Yeah, in here in when it was Mont Bleu.
Yeah.
At HQ. Yeah.
They're like, all right, we're going to teach you how to golf.
No, legitimately, I had a conversation with you about golf like 6 hours beforehand, and I just regurgitated the whole conversation to this guy about his golf swing. And he's legitimately making practice swings in his imagination at the HQ bar. And then he texted me the next day. He said, I played the best round of golf I've ever played in my life. And I was
Sweet.
like, that's what you do, man. I was like, don't worry. I'll coach you anytime you want. It was probably 6 months after I played my first round with you. Knew nothing about golf.
That's funny. Oh my God. All right. Not throwing up.
No.
I didn't really get a 21st birthday. So on my 21st birthday, I started blackjack dealer school. And then we had to be back the next day at 8 a.m. or whatever. So we went down. There was an old restaurant in Harvey's called El Vaquero. It's where Taco is now.
Oh,
And they used to do $5 shot and a beer, right? So we went down. We all had, 3 or 4 beers, 3 or 4 shots, whatever, but nothing special. And then bailed. Went back to college, got a bar job. And very quickly, through no fault of my own, ended up being the general manager of this job. So by the time I turned 22, I was the general manager of a nightclub in a college town.
But you didn't really have a 21st birthday party.
But I didn't really have a 21st birthday party. And someone in there, I know who, I didn't tell them it was my birthday. I wasn't going to. I was going to be working. I didn't want to deal with it. Didn't say anything. Because it's not like, I'm not the GM. There are guys that will throw, as a money-making endeavor, will throw their birthday party, in the club.
Oh,
Make
yeah.
it extravagant.
Yeah, yeah.
everything,
Extravagant.
But I
Everyone's
wasn't-
invited.
I wasn't that kind of GM.
Fair enough.
Like everyone knew who I was, but I wasn't. Everyone else was their own face in the club. The bartenders, the door guys, like everyone had their own thing. I really just facilitated them making a bunch of money because it made me a bunch of money, and that was enough for me. But someone found out and shared it with everybody, so I showed up, and my head of security's like, "You're not working tonight." Then I was like, I don't think you have the power to do that. He's like, yeah, don't care. He goes, the bartenders aren't going to let you work tonight either. So me and 6 or 7 others, like, we drank on the job because it was, the oldest person working in that club was 24.
Oh, yeah.
And I was the GM at now 22. So we start drinking, which is fine. We end up just plastered. We were fine as long as we stayed in that bar. But at some point, we're like, let's go to another bar. That bar was Mother's. So we all walk down there. Everyone goes inside, and we skipped the line because everyone knew who we were. Everyone goes inside except for one of the girls goes, I want to smoke a cigarette before I go in. I'm like, whatever, I'll hang out here and talk to you. So we're standing outside. This guy walks up with like 7 or 8 of his fraternity brothers. Now, this guy was not unfamiliar to me. I had thrown him out of the bar 3 times. And the last time, I was like, you're 86th. And he was like, till when? And I said,
forever.
Until I don't work here anymore. Because you're a shitbag.
You 86 alpha betas from your bar?
I could actually tell you what fraternity he was with. Anyway, he walks up on me, hammered. Now, when I say hammered, the sidewalk was not a straight enough line to contain my gait at this point.
Oh.
Never would have had a chance in a fight. Not even close. Doesn't matter because I get pretty like jovial when I'm drunk. But I also have no problem just jaw jacking the shit out of people.
Oh.
So he's
Trip
like,
City.
I'm not even looking at him. He's behind me. And he goes, Lane. Well, that sounded threatening. And I turn around. The girl's standing right there. And I'm like, oh, shit, it's you. Let me guess. You want to fight. Are these guys here to help? That's not going to work for you. He's like, excuse me? I'm like, dude, you're not going to fight me out here. You're a fucking bitch. Like, just in front of his guys, just ruthlessly.
Captain Kirk over here. Fucking.
And he's like, you ready to go? I'm like, dude, whenever you want. I'm standing right here. What are we doing? You're just talking. Like, you're not going to do anything. Like, oh, I'm like, no. You're not going to do anything. I can see it.
Yeah.
You're just going to stand there and take whatever I say because you just don't have it in you. Like, I can't believe that you're actually afraid of me right now, but you're actually afraid of me right now. Mind you, none of this is true. I'm just making noise. And then there's this point where the look on his face changes. And I go, oh, shit, like, you're really not going to fight me. Like, you're really? Like, you don't. There's like 9 of you. You're like, all right, fine. I mean, I thought you had a little bit more backbone than that, but cool. I'm still jaw jacking, right? Just fucking tearing this guy apart. And he turns up and he's like turns around, he's like, let's get out of here. And I'm like, that's right. Nothing. Shut up.
Fucking, you shoresied him?
And he fucking walks off. And I turn around to go inside. And every door guy at this bar who I know is standing behind me in a wall. There's like 12 of them. Oh. And I go, oh, that makes way more sense.
That's why he left.
And the head of security for this bar goes, would you get your fucking ass inside my bar?
So I'm guessing the facial change is when they became that wall.
Yes, I'm sure that's when that happened. Yeah.
Yeah. Those 9 fraternity dudes went,
Nope.
yeah, no, I'm good. I don't even like this guy anyway that much.
Those door guys are fucking huge.
Right? Weren't they all the UFC fighters, right?
So it got so bad with this fraternity, I 86 the whole fraternity, which was only funny because 2 of them worked for me.
Those were the only two, not 86th.
Oh yeah, they were actually good friends of mine, but they were like, "Hey, dude, like, our brothers." Like, nope. Well, why not? Well, because the last time they were here, I found one of them pissing in my elevator, and that's not even the worst thing they've done in this bar.
See, alpha betas, man. You can't let them anywhere.
I'm curious, what fraternity was this?
I'm not gonna say.
Yeah,
No?
it's the
No.
alpha betas.
I mean, they could still be.
Oh, they're still a fraternity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but are they still banned from that bar?
No, I'm sure they got in after
He
I
doesn't
left.
work there anymore.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
just saying. I mean, it could have stuck.
Nope.
Oh my god, they were just delinquent.
They probably came back for like a week and got kicked out again.
I'm sure some of them got in, but if anyone came in and they're like, "Hey, I'm a like beat it," what? Yeah, get out.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Alpha beta your ass
Take
to
off.
another bar.
Should have thought about that.
There's like 9 other bars in walking distance. Choose any one of them but this one.
See, and I only have army stories, like drinking in the army. Like I didn't have a 21st birthday either. Mine was spent in the box,
Yeah.
playing soldier.
Well, the fake box though.
It wasn't that fake. But kind of, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you were in the desert, but you know.
Well, no, because I still had the nasty girls when we were doing Battle Drill 6 that couldn't shoot and had 50 cals bouncing off 12
yeah.
feet from me.
Oh yeah, that counts.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
I was in the box.
Yeah. The box.
And like, we didn't get to party like that. I had a birthday cake from an MRE, and the birthday
Oh,
cakes out of
yeah.
there looked like a piece of bread with a little bit of frosting.
It's just a sad Pop-Tart.
That's so sad.
It
Sad
was. It
Pop-Tart,
was a
yeah.
sad
It's a
Pop-Tart.
sad Pop-Tart. It really is.
Well, we still had drinks out there. You pour it in the canteen. Nobody ever checks the canteen. And back then, I was drinking Jameson. I mean, I was
Oh, that was
Everyone
dude,
was drinking Jameson.
exactly.
the bars that I worked at in Slow, employees got Jameson for $2 all the time.
Oh,
because we were
perfect.
always trying to be the #1 Jameson count in California.
Oh.
So to promote that,
You sold a ton of it.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
How
I
far
drank.
off were you though?
I drank. So the Little Irish Pub that was part of the group was the #1 Jameson count in California for 3 years.
Nice.
It was the second largest Jameson count in the country 1 year.
Wow.
I believe.
Wow.
It's even more impressive. It held 59 people.
That's amazing.
Holy shit. I can tell you blood turd and whales, but me throat is so dry. I need a little bit of Jameson.
At this point, like people are like, "We're doing shots," and I'm like, "Of what?" They're like, "Jameson." I'm like, "Ow." All right, how committed am I right now?
This is why you're a bourbon guy. You know that, right?
Yeah.
You just drink so much crappy Irish whiskey that you're like, I can't do it anymore. I gotta drink bourbon. I need something with life in it.
My favorite drinking night, and I still remember it to this day in the Army. So I started off with a nice ice cold beer in the shower, as one did. After that, I started
what is it
drinking
with you
Jameson.
people and beer in the showers?
I don't know. I've never been that
I'm
guy.
just saying,
Can't do
hot
it.
water, ice cold beer,
I
great
know.
shock to the system.
People have tried to convince me of this for years. Hans was a fan of it.
I don't
Yeah.
do it anymore.
I cannot do it. I don't understand it.
I mean, if I go on vacation and like I'm going with friends to drink, I'll probably do it again. But
Fair
like,
enough.
started with the beer in the shower.
'Kay.
Then I switched to Jameson, and I finished off the bottle before 11 o'clock. And then we went to my NCO's house, Sergeant First Class Mora, and he liked Rockstar and Jaeger.
Oh,
That's such a disappointing
that's
combination.
foul.
It's
How
foul,
ca-
but when you're
how-
already drunk, which
No,
I was
no.
already inebriated,
That's never acceptable.
Oh,
but
You make someone drive to get Red Bull.
we finished off the bottle of Jaeger, and it was a full bottle. Then we went to Bud Light because we were sitting there talking, chit-chatting. At least I think we were. I don't know how my speech was.
yeah.
I'm
I was
usually-
trying to talk.
I think
Again,
I'm still pretty fair.
Inside,
even
the words were
inebriated.
coming out just fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Outside, can't help you.
I don't know. We had a conversation, so it must have been clear. And then my LT comes in. Big, like 6'7" black guy, barely fit in the tank. It was funny because when it was in the tank, he was like this. Jenkins, there's a shot over there you need to take. I'm like, what? He's like, truck, right. Like, oh. Like, how'd you even see
I
that?
can't move my head. It's over there.
And we didn't have that fancy flare system where you can actually mark it already and everything. We didn't have that. Not on the M1 SAs. But we start job jacking back and forth, and like he always tells me he's gonna kick my ass, and I'm already pretty going so far. And like we go for a minute, and then it stops, and then we switch to drinking Rockstar and Jaeger because my NCO's wife went and picked up more. So I drank a little bit more of that, and then another NCO walks in. I forget his name, Sergeant something, but his wife came in too, and brought this bottle of tequila about this big. I don't know the name of it. It was good though. I remember that. And me and her were going shot for shot while she was calling me a bitch. And I looked at her. I'm like, do you realize how much I've drinking? And then my wife chirps in and tells her everything. And then she just looks at me in like dismay, like, why are you still walking? And I've been sitting most of the time. I'm like, because I can. And then my LT's like hopping in and trying to drink with me. And he starts jaw jacking again, like, Jenkins, I should kick your ass right now. I'm like, sir, we can go outside right now. I'm like, I'll still call you sir, but I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, you're a big guy. I'm not gonna take you on a one-on-one fair fight. I'm gonna break your fucking knee.
I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna play some dirty.
You're gonna hit the ground, and I'm just gonna hammer you. And he stopped talking, and he just stared at me, and I was serious. I'm like, this is what we're gonna do. And then I'm like, all right, it's time for a smoke break. I'll be outside. And I go outside. And I'm smoking. 10 minutes go by, and then I feel the, like, oh. And then everything starts spinning.
This
I'm
is
like,
new.
should not have gotten up. And I walk through the door, and I look at my, I'm like, we gotta go. And she's like, what? I'm like, we gotta go. And I go, make it out the door.
Red alert.
Puke next to her car. She's getting my, I want to say he's about a month old now, into the car seat. She's driving, so we go back to the house. She takes him up first, and he's crying. And I, being so inebriated, I didn't realize what was going on. I'm like, why is he crying? And I start crying. I'm like, and now I'm like, I'm a good father. I was worried, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm a shitbag father. I was shit-faced. And I'm like, he didn't see me, so that's fine. He won't remember this. And I stumble up the stairs. And by stumble, I mean I drank my lifeless corpse up the stairs because I'm just basically pulling myself stair by stair up. We get in, and I hop in the shower because that's where I sleep when I get that drunk. Because I know that's the best place. I sleep on my left
place.
side, and everything just goes.
Oh my god.
And that's my go-to spot. I wake up the next morning, and I don't think I'd ever tell anybody this, especially 30 people, possibly more later.
Oh, Dib,
I've told Casey this.
It's on the internet now. You might as well go.
And I woke up to a smell that was atrocious.
Oh no.
And I look up, and I had done a Jackson Pollock painting of shit all over the side of the shower. I'm like, oh, that's beautiful.
That's disgusting.
But that's how inebriated I was. I puked on myself and made a masterpiece on the wall that I then had to spray off, going like this.
So gross.
And at this point, I just used my shirt. I'm like, I'm not touching this with my hand. And I'm like, your hand's already covered, man.
It got there somehow.
You're in the shower.
But I think that's my best and worst one ever.
This is why you always get one of those shower heads with it that can come off and like
I had
spray
that.
the whole. Yeah, that you have that for that reason, not
except-
for anything else.
No, you don't have that for that reason.
The problem is it wasn't working. That's why I had to switch to the shirt as a cloth. And all my clothes that night, including the shoes, got thrown away. I'm like, I don't care. I don't need them. I can buy new ones.
I have nothing like that. Nothing.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, but the amount I drank, I probably should have been dead at that point. And I've had my stomach pumped once.
Oh yeah, I've never had that either.
But I also remember every night I've been that wasted.
I know.
I
Hospital night, I threw it all up, so I didn't have to get my stomach pumped.
see, and
Just needed electrolytes.
I think that's my biggest thing is I always remember when I drink, and when I get to that point, I'm like, this is gonna be a fun night, and I'm gonna remember it, and it's always pretty good.
Yeah, I don't really black out when I'm drunk.
Yeah, I never had that
Usually
issue.
the next day I'm like, wow, all right.
Shit, my first hangover was
That was fun.
probably like 3 years ago,
Yeah.
And even then, it wasn't that bad.
My drunk version of me knows to take care of sober me. So no matter what happens, there's always like 2 or 3 Advil that get taken and a glass of water before I sleep.
It's a
Yeah.
pretty solid Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah, it's just because I think we both know that the headache we're gonna have tomorrow is gonna be freaking terrible if we don't.
Your Jekyll's
So
like,
it's just like,
got you.
I got you, buddy. Don't worry. And then I wake up the next day and I'm like, oh, I feel like trash.
Oh,
but
dude.
At least I don't have a headache.
Yeah, I've never taken any Advil after that.
The worst hangover I've ever had. Mind you, this is after working in nightclubs for all of college. Shortly after college, I went to one of my buddy's weddings. And it was close enough to college that there were professors there. So all of the college buddies and all of the professors were stuck at the same table. And we had one professor, gigantic human being, like bare paws for hands. And we're all catching up and just, bullshitting. And he disappears. And he comes back from the bar. It's a wedding, so, everything's free.
Oh yeah.
And he's got 3 bottles of wine in each hand and 2 under one arm. And he walks up to the table and he goes, "It's time to do work." And we basically got into a drinking contest with our professors.
Nice.
Who won?
I don't know. I'm not sure any of us do.
The
Nice.
professor who remembers.
I will say we were not the table that got the cops called on us.
That
Was one of the wife's family's tables.
Oh.
So,
Now, it's all just this terrible, just swill wine. In fact, it was Yellowtail. I even know what
a
it was.
Classy bottle, sir.
And there were, by the end of the night, there had to be 2 cases worth. For a table of 12, 8 of us were drinking. It was like 48 bottles, plus whatever swill champagne they had there.
Champagne's for the podium.
listen, the worst one I've drinking is what the Army calls grog. When you go in and you have their military ball, they start mixing all kinds of just shit. There's alcohol.
no.
Yeah,
there's
it's jungle juice.
Yeah,
there's-
jungle juice.
Jungle juice.
Yeah.
It's not just alcohol though. There was sand from the box in there because somebody brought that, and it
Oh,
was just
yeah.
And
a
dip.
swill of just garbage.
Yeah.
So
Great drink though.
we get up the next day. The town in the East Bay where this wedding is, it was like 108, right? So I have my wedding clothes, and I have shorts and a polo.
All right.
Like a couple of pairs of shorts, a couple of polos.
And a pair of flip flops.
I was planning on driving back to Tahoe on Sunday. In fact, I still did, but it
Yeah.
was much later in the day.
yeah.
And a couple of the guys that were in the drinking contest were like, "Let's go play golf in the city." Okay, let's do that. I've got a pretty bad headache,
Yeah.
but it progressively, fair chance I was still kind of drunk.
Yeah, fair.
It's progressively getting worse. So we drive into San Francisco where it's foggy and like 48 degrees in the middle of July.
Okay.
Flip flops.
So I'm freezing my ass off.
Oh.
I have no sweatshirt, no anything. Freezing my ass off, fully dehydrated. Hangover has kicked in 100%.
just full tilt.
And I go to tee up on the first tee. And I can't. So I went to a knee and teed up my ball. Stood up and just shanked one like 900 yards to the right. And they're like, "Do you want to hit another one?" Like, I'm going to drop in the fairway
Yeah.
somewhere out there.
That's my warm up. But yeah.
Just gonna go there.
I'll just drop.
Got through 18 holes. Pretty sure I was sober at the end. And then drove back to Tahoe. But that I have never had, by the end of that headache was of a caliber that I have never experienced before or since.
I'm guessing it felt
man.
like somebody had a knife and just twisting it the whole time.
Oh, it was brutal.
Oh yeah, no.
It was. I've also never drank that shitty of wine since.
That's fair. I will on bad decisions, right? One time we decided it was our day off, and it was a nice day in Tahoe. So at noon, we decided to go on the beer, bros, and dude road trip around the lake. So we go to Dart, and we get some beers, and we put them in the very back of the car because we're like, all right, well, if they're in the very back, we're okay. It's like, all right, we're going to drive around the lake. And at strategic places, we're going to stop, enjoy the view, drink a beer. So we go. First scenic overlook we see, pull over, enjoy a beer. Second scene, pull over, enjoy a beer. We get to Kings Beach. Pull over at Kings Beach, the little beach area with the big lake that's made out of granite.
Yeah.
Park. Pull over there, enjoy a beer. So we're like 4 beers in. Get to the mini golf course that's right there. Flip a bitch and go, dude, let's mini golf. So we get to the parking lot, mini golf. We have a beer. Go play 18 holes in the mini golf course. Drunk as fuck on beer. Like, we shouldn't be here, and we're having too much fun for mini golf. Like, mini golf's fun. It's not that fun. But we're like, this mini golf one has special challenges that you're supposed to do. And one of them was like kick the ball with your foot to try to make a hole in one. And for the life, like, hands couldn't kick the ball for shit. Kept missing it. And we're like, that counts as one. Every time you miss, that's a stroke. Like, you're going to max out on this hole. And he just kept getting angrier and angrier and angrier. The other one was like billiards your ball with the handle.
Yeah.
So you had to lie down and do this. The whole time we're at this place, they were playing like the greatest hits of Michael Jackson. So we are karaokeing Michael Jackson, doing the dances. If people were looking at us, they were just like, those guys are clearly having too much fun here.
These guys are wasted.
Again, we're having time of our lives. Go a little further. You know that park that's there in Kings Beach?
Yeah.
There's a park there. Well, never did it before, so we said, let's go to the park and be adults. Went to the park, had a beer, sat on the swings, played around on the equipment on the playground. Greatest experience there. It was so good, so fun. We get to Tahoe City, right?
Okay.
We've made it to Tahoe City, and we pull over. There's a liquor store parking lot because we wanted to go to Mary's
I know
or
which one you're talking
Marie's
about.
or whatever. What's the real famous restaurants over there?
In Tahoe City?
Yeah, I think it's Marie's.
Okay.
It's not super famous, but it's right on the strip.
I don't think I've ever been there.
Yeah, it's right on the strip. I think it's called Mary's. But I knew it was there, and I'm like, we should get some food. So we pull over in this parking lot, which is for the liquor store, and decide to have our last beer. Swear to God, the moment we opened those beers, this flashlight comes out of nowhere. And it's the highway patrolman. And he goes, all right, pour them out. And we went, oh, shit. Now, Brendo is freaking out because it's a really big fine to be drinking beers in public in San Diego.
Yeah.
So he's freaking out. And we just, pour them out. And he goes, now you boys know you can't be drinking in the liquor store parking lot. And I was like, quick on my feet, quick on my feet, quick on my feet. No, you're right, officer, but we wanted to have cheap beers before we went in the restaurant because they overcharge for beer. And he's like, well, which restaurant are you going to? I was like, we're going to go to Mary's over there. They have the best potatoes in the town. And he goes, well, they do good potatoes over there, that's for sure. He's like, but you know what? You can pay the $6 for the beer. And I went, all right, you got us. We're really sorry. We just want to pour these out. We're sorry. We didn't even notice the liquor store was there. We just spaced it. And he's like, all right, well, you guys go get some food, and you have a good night.
Yeah.
And I was like, you have a good night as well, officer. Thank you. And we'll be sure to make sure nobody's drinking in this parking lot after you leave. So Brendo's like, I don't know how we got out of that. And I'm like, dude, if you were cool about it, we would have been fine. But you look like you were carrying something. So we go in the restaurant, and we're just laughing and like of all the times to get busted, it's on the last beer. It
Yeah.
wasn't driving. It wasn't in the golf course. It wasn't at any of the recreational stops. It was we mistakenly parked in front of the liquor store, and he just happened to see us. Was like, "Nope, you can't be drinking alcohol in the liquor store parking lot." And I'm like, "Unbelievable!" We just go away, we sober up, we eat. And it's like, all right, I guess we should go back to town. At this point, it's like, oh, it's a quick drive through Emerald Bay back. And we've sobered up by this time. We're just like, all right, whatever. That was fun. Good time.
I like it.
But I tell you what, mini golf with a couple beers in you is way more enjoyable than sober mini golf. That's for damn sure.
Not for Logan.
Well, Logan likes to drink, but he doesn't like to get fucked up.
He also takes mini golf very seriously.
We all do. It's a very serious institution. Look, it's
Listen.
a running championship between the 5 of us going on now for 12 years.
Unless you're
This is
playing it Happy
serious.
Gilmore style.
Who's
I
in the
mean,
lead?
Logan. Look, he cheats, and then me and Anthony get too competitive against each other, and we try to sabotage each other. So then Logan takes advantage of that. He does it every fucking time. We tried to team up on him, and it didn't work. He cheats. I don't know what he does, but he fucking cheats.
That's why you sabotage him instead of each
we
other.
can't. He cheats. The sabotage cheat. It's like demon magic or something. It's weird. All right, it just doesn't work. But no, you Happy Gilmore, the hole that you can Happy Gilmore. It's always the volcano wherever you go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you just hit
Not
that
the
bitch.
clown?
You,
Shouldn't,
no,
Yeah, shouldn't it be the clown?
no,
die, clown.
because you'll kill somebody. What's really funny is to just lob it as hard as you can in the volcano, and you just listen to the ball go ding, 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 and then roll out to one side, and you just pray it's on the side the hole's at. Sometimes it comes back, and you're like, "Oh shit!"
So I have a second worst story, and this was what it while I was in high school still.
Jackson Pollock number 2.
No, actually, well, yeah.
Oh my god! All right,
But it's not with dew.
wait, we're starting to notice a trend.
It's not with dew. This one's with vomit, and it's not in the shower.
Is it in your car?
No, it's at somebody else's house.
Perfect.
Oh, that ain't right.
Not in the house, in the garage.
That's in the house.
But it wasn't alcohol first. It was that devil's lettuce.
Oh shit!
Anyways, this is my first time, and I'm with my stepbrother.
Yeah,
His name is Casey. Not
Oh.
Casey. Cody. There we go. There we
Cody?
go. Cody. No, it's Cody.
I've been called Cody.
That's fine. His name is Cody. And like we were good friends in high school. We goofed around, had a lot of the same friends. But we found this pail in the Home Depot parking lot full. Just full.
Of weed?
Yes.
Wow.
Full of weed. So it wound up coming back to our friend's house, Cameron. And that was the first time I actually smoked. And like we went through quite a bit. We finished about half the pail, which I didn't
Half
think
the
was
pail?
Yeah. It was a big pail.
You guys could have
it was
sold
like-
that shit. What are you doing? Economics 101. Don't
High
sell
school.
your own supply. The Lord gave you weed. You sell that shit.
We were high school kids. It didn't matter. But so we're doing that, and like I get blitzed, and I'm sitting on the steps, and I start drinking spiced rum, and I get a full glass of spiced rum, finish that off, and I start feeling it more.
Like by itself? No chaser?
No chaser, nothing.
Oh.
Well, I mean, I can drink. You can't. We know this. We watch your face every time we do the tasting.
I can drink something. Spice rum? No.
Not by itself. No.
No, that goes with Diet Pepsi.
So I do that, and then I get a tall glass of water, and his sister. I'm already fucked up, and she's actually pretty when I'm fucked up. And she comes up to me, and she has my camo hat on because I used to wear an army cap everywhere in high school. And she comes up and says, "Do me a favor, if you're gonna puke," and she points at a door in her garage and says, "Go out that door, walk 5 steps, and puke off the side of the balcony." And the only words she heard was, "You bitch." Because that's when I instantly felt like I had to puke. She said something. I'm like, oh. Because when you smoke and you drink, you don't have that tendency to puke. It usually cuts it away, is what my understanding is. When she told me that, I made it to the door and I missed. I got it. I opened it and I looked at her and I looked at the out and I just went "Bleh," all over. And then I fall over
Oh my god.
and I crawl over and she brings me the kitty litter box. And that's where the painting begins because I just start vomiting in the kitty litter box. I'm like, oh, this is weird. And I move it, like put my hand in the kitty litter box and I push it. And I vomit again. And it's just me stirring it at this point.
This is weird.
So the next part of the
Weird.
story is third person. My brother Cody freaking out. He thought I was dying because it looked like I was having a seizure on the ground, and I was twitching and everything. And I look up and he looks at me. He's like, "You're okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just fucked up." And I barf again and I push the kitty litter box towards him and fall asleep. Wake up the next morning. I have like $10 to my name. We go down to the gas station. I get strawberry Pop-Tarts and a Slurpee and call it good.
Oh,
And this is on the same street my wife grew up on.
nice.
So at some point during that whole escapade, I did wander out. And I made it to her house. And I'm howling and screaming and all that. And her stepdog came out at some point and started yelling at me. And I turned around. And part of me apparently said something. And I walked off.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's great, right?
That's fantastic. You know what? That's pretty good.
The only other one that I think is funny is my wife. We went to her brother's wedding, and she drank Jack and Coke, 7 of them, and they poured them a little strong, but she wound up puking in the trash can, crying, saying, "I never wanted my sister to see me like this," and she's vomiting. And I take her to the car, and her mom comes with us. And her sister's following behind, and she's still crying about her sister seeing her. She puked on me, and I'm like, ugh.
Oh.
So I take off the suit, and I throw part of it in the back of her car, because we took her car this time. And every time she went, huh, her mom went, huh.
Oh.
And then her sister would do it, and then we had a choir, a quartet of just them going, huh, huh, huh.
Oh,
That's why
man.
it was funny.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
I want you all to know this episode is going to be called Bad Choices.
Yes. The last one being Kevin talking about his wife on the podcast. We may never see him again.
Where she goes,
Yeah.
If you guys heard that, you know where I went.
oh, man, that's fantastic.
Guys, we're about an hour and 30 in.
I think that's
Hey,
probably
that's
good.
pretty good. That's all bad decision drunk stories.
Well, this was Bad Decisions. I'm Kevin. He's Lane. And this is Casey. Give us a
Hey.
like, comment, and subscribe. And have a good one.
Not after the Jackson Pollock thing. No one's gonna. They're like, oh God.